If someone had said to me in 2011, I would be introducing our guest speaker today, I would have said, "Are you kidding me?" Remember my quote, "If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right"? Well, this is a young man who thought he could, and he did. Schneider-Kaner graduated from Livingston Manor in 2011. He went on to the Ohio State University and graduated this past May with a degree in Bachelor in Science of Business Administration with a marketing specialization. He plans to pursue a master's degree in business and MBA. Austin loves traveling, and he has studied abroad in Perth, Australia at Curtin University last fall. He has been to China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and New Zealand, not to mention 43 of the 50 states as well. Please welcome one of our graduates, Austin Schneider-Kaner.
Thank you, Sandra Johnson, senior class advisors, Jennifer Gore and Joyce Hogue, the Board of Education, parents, grandparents, friends, and most of all, the class of 2015. Now, as Mrs. Johnson was kind enough to mention, I myself have just recently graduated from The Ohio State University's Fisher College of Business, and I am also proud to call myself a member of the class of 2015. But believe it or not, just 4 short years ago, I was sitting there in your seats. I know what it is like to sit there being uncomfortable and anxiously awaiting graduation party hopping. And if you're anything like I was, you probably have already stopped and tuned me out because you are too busy thinking about how much money you will receive in graduation presents. But I ask that you let me tell you just 3 brief stories about myself and how I got from your seats to this podium here today. And then I'll be done and you can start partying and counting your graduation gifts. The first story is literally how I got here to this podium. Now, last fall I studied abroad in Perth, Australia, as Mrs. Johnson mentioned, at Curtin University. And I wanted to go there to get as far from home as possible, to go to the complete opposite end of this world, to start a new life with no one I knew within 12,000 miles. Now, 4 years ago, I wanted to see it all. I wanted to go everywhere and gain as much experience as possible. And I still do, and I'm still in the process of achieving that very goal. On Monday, I will fly to Europe, in which I will spend the following 3 months pursuing my dream. But when I was in Australia, I realized something. I realized just how much Livingston Manor meant to me, and that wherever I go, nothing would ever replace home. I wanted to give back to my community and to help those very same people that got me to where I am today. I emailed Sandra Johnson and Deborah Fox in order to volunteer to speak at this year's graduation. I felt that because I was graduating myself, I would be a perfect fit. I could relate to you guys having just done it myself. And I was annoyed with myself for tuning out that commencement speaker back in 2011. Was it really my fault or theirs? Maybe they didn't have a message that was that strong or that inspirational. Following your dreams was just too cliche, and quite frankly, it didn't mean that much to me. Regardless, having been frequently using my public speaking skills on my radio show and having just graduated myself, I knew I could do better and I would be more inspirational. Dr. Fox put me in touch with your class of 2015 advisors. They deliberated and decided that they would love to have me. And I was so excited until I thought about what I was going to say. And then I realized, what the heck am I going to speak about? I use other language to myself, but if I said that, Mrs. Johnson would probably fall off of her chair. So, I did what any good speaker would do. I went on YouTube. I watched hours and hours of videos of great commencement speeches. I watched Steve Jobs, Barack Obama, Denzel Washington, among countless others. And this was a terrible idea. They were all so good, so composed, and had so many accomplishments to talk about. How could I live up to them? Who was I compared to what they were? And what if you hated me? But then I realized something. Now brace yourself. I don't give a damn. Now, I apologize, but listen up, because this is the lesson for this story. You cannot let a fear of failure, a fear of comparison, or a fear of judgment stop you from doing what is going to make you great. You cannot have a voice without running the risk of being criticized. And you cannot succeed without the risk of failure. It does not matter if you fear failure or not. Disappointment will come. Do not be afraid to fail. Things will not always go your way. You will have setbacks, but you shake them off and you keep going. Failure is curling up into a ball and letting the setbacks make you quit. That's failure. But the second story is about success. The second story is about how I made the transition successfully from a small town in Livingston, Manor to one of the biggest schools in the nation at The Ohio State University. Now, of course, Ohio State was very expensive. As an out-of-state student, it would cost me about $40,000 per year. Money I didn't have, and neither did my parents. I was told that if I went, they support my decision, but I was on my own and they couldn't afford to help me financially. I chose to go forward, knowing that the opportunity to go to one of the top business schools in the world was just too great to pass up. I did not let money stand in my way. I had the idea of writing a letter about my story to every rich person I could think of, including many of whom that had gone to Ohio State. I sent out over 100 letters, and my response rate was actually pretty good. Unfortunately, they all said something along the lines of congratulations and good luck, but no, they weren't in a position to help me. All except one. I received a scholarship for over $10,000 throughout my 4 years at Ohio State. Now, of course, it did not account for everything, but it helped contribute. And it seemed that over time, I found more and more help along the way to pay for more than half of my expenses. This is another reason why I volunteered to give this speech today. I learned that helping people is contingent on other people helping people. There is help out there, and you should not let a monetary number stand in your way. Maya Angelou says, "When you learn, teach, and when you get, give." You may not be able to do everything for someone, which is a reason why some people hold back. But rest assured that whatever you can contribute will help. So how does this relate to success? My definition of success is achieving your own goals and your own dreams, whatever they may be. It is about working for more than just money, working for happiness and fulfillment. Receiving my degree from Ohio State fulfilled my dream from 4 years ago, and that was success. I wasn't afraid to dream big because I knew if you don't dream big, others will do it for you. The definition of success is different for everyone, and everyone should have a different definition. I recommend going home and figuring out that definition for each of yourselves. Figure out your own dream and picture it vividly. But when you write it, I want you to be aware of two controversial flaws that I found for most people's definitions of success. The first is thinking that you should work until a point at which you can retire and enjoy life. Find what it is that satisfies you and makes you love your life now. Don't waste time doing something you don't enjoy. Find that fulfillment in your life. The second is that success should not just be defined solely by money. They say that you will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. It means that you cannot take your money with you. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference. The final story did not come easy to me. How could I wrap up everything that I wanted to say into one single story, one single piece of advice? If there was anything I learned from watching all those YouTube videos, it was that all the really good speakers had a personal story close to their heart that they shared that wasn't just a collection of titles or accomplishments. It was a story about their purpose. A story that was not about what they were or what they did, but it defined who they wanted to be. Now, it wasn't easy to come up with a story because, like you, I am still young, and I haven't figured out precisely what my purpose is. So don't expect the clarity to come all at once or to know your purpose right away. And I realized that maybe there isn't one single story that will define me, that can say everything that I want to. I'm still writing my story. We all are. But my story that did help pave the way came when I was 15. In 2008, when the recession hit, it affected my family very much, as both of my parents own their own businesses in the real estate field, which means that they work solely off of commission. There are no steady paychecks. Before then, our family had more than enough money. We went on nice trips, we spent a small fortune on my bar mitzvah, and I basically got whatever I wanted. For most, the recession was terrible. And don't get me wrong, it was terrible for us too. Even worse. See, we went from having a really good income to nothing at all. There were no paychecks. My parents dug deeper and deeper into their savings until there was barely anything left. The market rebounded and we survived, although we still haven't fully recovered. But for me, this could have been the single best thing that's ever happened to me. I went from being selfish and getting handed many luxuries in life to not getting anything at all. It taught me so much about who I was to become as a person. And it all stems back to this notion of helping people and paying it forward. It taught me to not take anything for granted and to be selfless in each of my relationships. The recession helped shed light on my purpose, and I can honestly say that I would not be here today without it. I'll leave you with 3 quotes. In case you did tune out for the whole thing, these quotes should help sum up each story respectively. The first one is by Dr. Seuss. It reads, "Those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter." The second is by Albert Einstein. He says, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." And the last is by Oscar Wilde. It's "Be yourself, because everyone else is taken." Congratulations, class of 2015. Congratulations to your friends and your families. I wish you all the best. Good luck, and thank you for listening.
Austin, thank you so much. And I take back what I said about, are you kidding me? It's come a long way. So thank you so much.